They will form some. Oh, where are we? You'll get these knuckles right here. And no matter how you slice it, you're going to have a bunch of funky branches coming out of there. So usually I just come down just a little bit lower to a branch coming off the other end. So this branch will take over. That's how you get those funky angles with pomegranates. Very unique. They're also very flexible, so you can put some really good movement into them, even thicker branches. Pretty big cut. So I'm gonna put paste on it. Hello.
Didn't know you were up here.
We're going to want to bring that way down. Which means this is going to have to go. So if this comes here, we're going to want to open up that canopy this way. We got a twin trunk in there. That means we'll take this one down. This almost shows off our trunk better though from this angle. It's a little bit wider trunk. And this isn't so long. See, from here it's so long and straight out. Almost a straight line, as neat as that branch is. But if we bring it this way, shortens it up a bit, right? You can see where the trunk actually starts. That branch actually starts. So it shortens that line up from so long to a little shorter. We can still highlight this branch and to bring it over that direction. That way it gives us room to pull this forward. Sure up that line. And we still have, if we get this out of the way, you can see that twist right here especially. All right, but we still have wide base and a good trunk line that could transition into this. But this one's not bad either, especially if we're going to bring it down and hang out over that direction. So this can still come out of the way. No problem. Pull all this down, be selective. If it were springtime, maybe we transition to this. The back's got all the cuts on it though, so even though 180 would be fine and this would be a nice trunk continuation, we've got all the big cuts back here. And we don't get quite as nice of a twist in the trunk from this direction as we do from here. So, and I really like this one. It's a good branch to accentuate the tree. So we'll see what we got. Alrighty, ready for some wire. Ready for some wire. Really on these pomegranates, the most important thing is accentuating those erratic angles that you'll get. And a lot of this will probably cut back to something that's more angular, but you might as well get the bending in, see what you can do, play around with it on something that you think you might cut back to, or you might cut back for better growth. And then instead of bending all these, what we're going to do is cut them back as well. And let those grow out as they will. So this pad, even though it's kind of funky here, eventually it's going to grow out and it's going to occupy this space just like that. Subtle movement, but so right now I'm not worried about it because that's just more wire I'm going to have to take off later. So let it do its thing. They're so flexible that wiring this now or next year or 2 years from now even is going to allow you to make that bend. And you may get adventitious growth. That means you don't even have to bend it. You can just let it grow and get that angular movement. Since we're going to be moving this out a little bit, I want to pull this in a little tighter so it's not just a wide open. See? All right. So we'll see how far we can bring this in. Take it back out. Take that last movement out a little bit more. So there's a branch, not just a shrub. You can see how much tighter that is right there. We're looking to highlight this lower branch. This one we could use, but it's so long and straight. Why not bring this one around to take up that space, and that gives it room to play with this one. I'm not going to cut it off all the way, but I'm going to cut that big gnarly knob of an end off. So we got this guy. Just in case. Just in case. And we could always prune back. There's a couple other little twigs right here too. We could come back to those as we move up the tree. Remember, this is going to be our apex. There, that's the one. And this bottom part that goes straight back, we're going to pull in to occupy that empty space. The whole back, we're just going to pop it right in there. This foliage will cover up. See where it makes a circle right here. Some more wire. There's thorns all in front. We're messing with this branch here. This guy way in the back that we were looking at cutting off, we're going to try and bring it around and take up some of that negative space in the back, or what will become negative space in the back. growth. This guy can lay down eventually. Maybe we'll wire it out, but we'll see how intriguing it gets. So, I know it's hard to see now, but we got a pad. If you can see my hand, now we've got a pad sitting right here. So we'll develop pads here, here, now here. We'll take that around. This guy will be hanging down right there. We'll pull all this down. Maybe we'll take this one off to shorten this side up. And that means when we pull this out, we'll have a nice, or pull this down and have this one be the defining branch. This one just be a little flirt in the front there. It's better already. This one I toyed with getting rid of all the way, but I thought I'd wait and see how far the apex would be able to come down before we totally lopped off everything in the front of it. So every time I set branches, I take another look around the tree and see what's left and how useful it may be. So I clean it out, but then I'll go around and take a pass every time I set a branch to see what I have that's useful, what may not be as useful as I'd hoped. This one may actually end up coming off too, because it kind of gets in the way of being able to pull this down. But it keeps some nice tight foliage towards the interior and closer down here. That maybe we'll keep it till this branch back buds enough. It's almost wanting to be a double trunk, but not quite. So it'll be interesting to see how it develops. Or maybe keep this one and get rid of this big wad right here. That would push the flow over that direction, right? This is all gone. This comes down. Canopy sits right there. Maybe that's it. Maybe that is it. We're going to take it halfway down. You know what? Might as well. These root fairly easily too, by the way. So, got some going on that. Big gnarly cut. They will die back prolifically as well. deaths can be prolific. So you'll get some interesting features. You'll see a lot with even like a completely dead center with twisting live bark around the exterior. You get the same with quince as well. Might as well gut this out. Go ahead and apply it throughout. I usually wait till the end just so I don't get stuff all over my finger, all over my hands. I have to go through and reapply it anyway, but there's some pretty big cuts on here. Go. So finagle this thick wire through here. It goes on pretty well, but gotta get it on all the nooks and crannies. Good thing we're not using copper wire. So normally I'd want to do a pass around the trunk to secure that, but this initial portion of the branch is not going to move, so it's actually going to act as the anchor. I want to move this long stretch out here. And we may have to have an additional guy wire in place on this one. Just considering how large it is. Just to keep it where we set it. I don't want to put on 2 4-gauge aluminum wires. Be a bit obnoxious on the tree. First things first. Let's see if we can put anything into this. Not quite gonna stay down for us. It might get to where we need it though. Let's see what we got. So we are going to put a little guy around that right here because we want it to sit there. See where it is? We want it to sit. Get rid of this thing. We want it to sit here, not here. Right? Just. It's hard to see in 2D. We just want to drop it right down, just a tad. Luckily, we've got a spot to do it. I'll bring the apex down, decide what we're going to do with this guy here, and wire this one out, and that should do it. There's thorns all over this thing. I think we're going to leave this branch exactly where it is. Pull this back to here. Transition that taper. Because this is going to lay down. This is going to come over this way as well. Maybe we'll. No, we need that branch. This is going to lay down for sure. And we'll have a great little shape. I'm looking at getting rid of this more and more since we have so low here. This will have to come in dramatically. And it can. There you go. Pull this down, pull that down. Boom. One more wire, we're all set. Stick on a thorn. I'm going to pull this. So if you look from the side, you've got this wacky thing coming out the top, but the apex is so far forward. I'm going to try and pull it up and back. So this is useful in the backdrop, or at least to fill out the back of the apex, because we don't want something like this right here. So I'm going to try and stand up the apex a little bit, just a little bit, and then bring it back down. So I want to push down at the base of the apical branch there, and then bring it forward again. So it's sitting more in the center, right? See how that worked? And now we can move that. If it's gone, it's not really a big deal because this branch will fill out, come into that area. We still get that apex coming forward. Pulling right in there. It's really flexible, so I am going to move it for movement's sake. Let me look, why don't you look at the front? I know it's hard to see through all this sometimes. But this is going to drop in. There's a little bit of a gap right here, if you see it. There we go. We've got a little branch here or a smaller branch here, but they're fairly weak. So I'm going to drop this branch in and pull it around. Put it right in that spot. So then if these do well, great. We can always adjust the back budding on this one to fill in a different spot that we need to. But at the same time, if these have a tough winter and don't make it, we've got a stronger branch back here to really fill in the apex. And most of what's in the background is stringy. So we're going to leave all of that so that it keeps getting growth and girth, and then we can prune it back to where we need to fill in this back here. But should be all right. Maybe one more piece of wire on there. That'll do it. It's definitely not a finished product, but its structure is set for moving forward. I got access to a lot of these, Julian, so if this is something y'all want to do in Dallas. All right. Yeah, that's it.